Welcome back to Aliens and Angels podcast. Today, I'm very excited to bring back two of my favorite guests, Preston Dennett and Dolly Safran. Preston Dennett began investigating UFOs and the paranormal in 1986 when he discovered that his family, friends, and coworkers were having dramatic, unexplained encounters. Since then, he has interviewed hundreds of witnesses and investigated a wide variety of paranormal phenomena. He is a field investigator for the Mutual UFO Network, also known as MUFON. He's a ghost hunter, a paranormal researcher, and the author of over 30 books and more than 100 articles on UFOs and the paranormal. You can find out more about Preston Dennett at www.prestondennett.weebly.com. Dolly Safran began her life journey as an intergenerational contactee. Her father, an airborne ranger in the U.S. Army, was also a contactee from an early age. Growing up was challenging for Dolly as she experienced episodes of disappearing from her home, psychic phenomena, and unseen friends. After gaining awareness at the age of 14, she realized that she was being taught by and working with ET. Dolly's decision to break her silence is now an imperative for her. Dolly is a fully conscious experiencer and the subject of one of Preston Dennett's latest books called Symmetry, a True UFO Adventure. All of the links are featured below in the description. Please do check me out, subscribe to my channels, leave me a comment and like my videos, and please do share my content with your friends. Well, I'm still waiting for Dolly and Preston. I am guessing they got held up, but they are not here yet. So until they arrive, I will just fill in a bit. I have some news. Most of you know that I've been working on my book about my UFO and extraterrestrial contactee experiences. And I'm making really good headway on it. I'm really excited. I have 5 chapters completed. And I got to tell you, it's a lot more work than I thought it would be. It is challenging, not just to get my experience out as accurately as possible, but also in order for it to be structured in a way that it's interesting to the reader and a pleasure to read. And then there's all the grammatical things that need to be checked, spelling and spacing and God knows what. And but it's been a labor of love, and it's really coming along. So there is a chance I may have it out before the end of the year. I'm hoping. More on news is I finally, after years of having a YouTube channel and generally being ineligible for monetization because my content was considered somehow harmful to humanity, which I disagree completely, but it's YouTube's platform, and I guess they get to make the decisions. And I'm actually grateful to have a YouTube channel. I just recently found out that my videos have had over 77,000 views. So I want to thank everybody, the listeners and the viewers and the subscribers and people that watch my show and share it out. I really appreciate you so very much. And I owe my success to you. Um, And then more recently, just in the last couple of days, I've been approved for channel membership. So I'm busy working on all the things I need to have ready for that. I've got my perks organized and approved. I've got badges that you will all receive next to your name when you comment, so that people know that you're a supporter of the channel. And I've also got some special emojis that you can't necessarily find anywhere else that you can have use of when you become a supporter. And then I have different tiers, of course. And I'm offering all kinds of things from shout outs to priority responses on the show to your messages or comments. I'm offering member requested videos. So at a certain level, you are able to actually request a topic that you'd like to see covered. I also will have members only videos and coupons for discounts on my merchandise that's available on my website. Which reminds me, I should stick my banner up here so that you know where to find me. And the highest tier also qualifies you to have once a month a 1 hour consultation or counseling session with me. For those of you who don't know, I do have a degree in social work and women's studies, and I specialized in family counseling, um, also in substance use and addictions and medical cannabis and all kinds of things. But I also offer services, which you will find on my website, for those who have been abducted or contacted by ETs. If you need someone to talk to about that, that will validate your experience. I also have services, just general health counseling and just a whole bunch of things, spiritual emergency, all kinds of things. I also do intuitive readings for people who need a little help. Sometimes from time to time we get stuck and we need a little bit of help. So that's just a little bit about what I offer. And so I will have probably by next Wednesday, which is the Quantum Guide Show, I will have my membership system set up so that you can join. And I really, really appreciate the support I get from you. So what the support does is it offers me an opportunity to um, expand my channel, expand my YouTube videos to do a higher quality video and things like that. So I'm just going to quickly check my email to see if I have heard from Preston, and let's have a look. Yeah, no, I have not. Oops, maybe. Let's have a look. Nope, I have not heard back from Preston. I don't know why. I'm hoping everything is okay with them because they're actually located down in the vicinity of where they had Hurricane Helene. And apparently it's a real mess down there. And they are both located in that general vicinity. And I'm hoping there's been no problems or aftermath. There is a chance that their internet went out. There's a lot of problems with connectivity. And if they can't be here today, I will definitely reschedule them. So I apologize to all the viewers and the listeners out there. I know you were really looking forward to my discussion with Dolly and Preston today. Maybe I'll just take a minute and talk about the book Symmetry, A True UFO Adventure by Preston Dennett. If you haven't read this book, you absolutely want to. If you're interested in UFOs or ET, you will definitely want to get a hold of this book. It's the true life experience of Dolly Safran, who has been contacted for as far back as she can remember. But for the longest time, her memories, because she had to lead two different lives, she had to live her everyday mundane life. And then, of course, she had her adventures with the extraterrestrials. And she very much had to split herself off into two lives so that she wasn't telling people about what was going on in her ET adventures. And also, which something that often happens to many of us who are contactees is our memories are suppressed. And the reason is so that we can reintegrate back into society and our lives. We're here for a purpose, usually for soul evolution. And believe me, from having experiences myself, it really shakes things up when we remember everything that we've experienced and learned. It's such a different reality. I can't begin to explain what a different reality it is. And so when she was about 14 years old, she started having some spontaneous memories. And then she met with the extraterrestrials and had basically discussion with them, and they asked her if she was ready to have her memories and to continue to have contact with them as a fully conscious contactee. And she agreed to it. And it presents many challenges. And speaking from my own experience, in the beginning, I had some memories, but I wasn't sure if I was dreaming or if I was actually crazy. I didn't know. And it actually took a few years before I started having a fairly large amount of recall. And then I knew it was for a purpose. And that's when I began writing my book. And it's taken me a lot longer than I expected, but as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, it's coming along very, very well, and I'm really pleased with it, and I think you'll find it very, very interesting. Since we're still waiting for Dolly and Preston to arrive on the show, I will maybe talk a little bit about my book, even though the show was supposed to be about the Symmetry, a true UFO adventure, which again, I highly recommend that you go out and buy this book. It's fantastic. So much information. I'll tell you, okay, first I'll tell you a little bit about some of the chapters in this book. There's The Awakening, which is about Dolly's experience leading two lives and awakening up to full consciousness, about her extraterrestrial adventures. Then there's a chapter on meeting Mama, and Mama is her main contact. Mama is a gray. She's not one of the really short kind of grays. She's about, I think Dolly says she's about 5 feet tall. And she has always been with Dolly. They're psychically connected. And she makes sure that everything is okay and that Dolly's getting everything she needs and is well taken care of. The third chapter is The Secret School, where you learn all about where Dolly went for training and education, and interestingly, how that sort of interfered with her Earth training. School was completely boring for her because there was nothing they could teach her that she didn't already know, and in way more detail. Chapter 4 is On Board the Motherships, all about what that experience is like. Chapter 5 is Dolly Among the Stars. Dolly actually learned to pilot a craft, and it's all about the process she went through to become a pilot and what that experience was like. And that flows into Chapter 6, Flight Training. Chapter 7 is The Gathering of the Children. So, according to Dolly and Nancy Thames and other people who have had contact with the Greys, the the Greys are not here to frighten us or scare us or abduct us permanently. They're actually here watching over humankind, trying to help us in these really difficult times that we're living in. educate us. Apparently, there are millions of people who have been taken on board smaller or even larger ships, and they generally have medical examinations, and that is because ET's concerned. Sometimes they help cure diseases, as Dolly goes on to talk about in chapter 8, The Guardians. They've helped her to heal many, many times. And then she ends up in chapter 9 talking about people like us that have the experiences and why we have them. And chapter 10, she has the ET's message to all humanity. And what's interesting is Nancy Thames, I've had her a couple times on my shows, and Dolly Safran, who I've also had on a few times on my shows. They have the same exact message, that the Greys are not here to scare us, to hurt us, to eat us, or anything horrible like that. They're actually watching over humankind, giving us an education system so that when the shit hits the fan, which apparently it's going to one way or another through natural disasters or nefarious human agendas, there will be as many as possible will be evacuated and relocated. So I thought it was interesting that Nancy and Dolly had never met each other. They'd never read each other's material. They'd never seen each other on shows. And yet their message is so incredibly online. My experience is a little different. I classify my experiences as transdimensional. So I went to the big ship. Um, I did go physically, but I also went through by location. I also went there etherically and aurically, you might want to call it. I don't know the exact perfect terms. I just am relating it as I experienced it. And for me, although I may have had contact earlier on, I suspect that I did. I don't actually remember those experiences. But the experiences I do remember happened over a 3-month period of time. They happened while I was here on Earth and around 2013. And I was taken after I went to sleep every night consecutively for a 3-month period of our time. But as Dolly and Nancy have experienced, and as I experienced, there's a time dilation. So you can be gone for what you're perceiving as weeks, even months, and be returned a short period of time from when you left in Earth time, because there's a time dilation. So I thought that was interesting reading and finding out about that in Preston's book. So for me, my experiences are spread out over more like 3.5 years. And while I was there, I learned so much, but I also really benefited by being with these gentle creatures. Now, they weren't grays, but they looked very much like us with subtle differences, some not so subtle differences. Many of them are born and live their whole lives on the big ship, and they don't live on planets. There's lots of beings that don't live on planets. Planets are relatively unstable with periods of stability. They do offer a pre-settlement program where people like myself were taken on expeditions and given a great, vast amount of training in our specialized field. Mine was botany. And then we went down and we assessed suitability of planets to be repopulated by humanoids. So there are more than you could imagine. I would say billions and billions of planets, even just in our galaxy, that could support humanoid life. And they have everything ready. They just don't have humanoids. Humanoids are not evolved from, single-celled organisms, or they didn't evolve from monkeys. They were actually created. The root race for all humanoids were created for a purpose. And we are all different races within one species. So, when we went down to the different planets, we just did scientific expeditions. We were quarantined in a very small area. We did our research. We took that back to the big ship where we got to have it analyzed, look at it on a holographic system, and plan whether or not it was suitable to relocate humanoids there or not. Um, the beings on the big ship also do facilitate resettlement, but they don't just take anybody. They take people who are self-evolved. I know that's strange because I just said we didn't evolve. Let's just say self-developed to the point where we would have um, something positive to add to relocation. So we got to put away our warring ways, our fights, our petty differences, our prejudices, all of that. We have to work quite diligently on our own character and health before we would be eligible. But there is a time coming, according to Dolly in the book Symmetry, and according to Nancy Thames, and my experiences, that there will come a time where some evacuation will happen. So there's all of that. And Dolly and Preston still have not arrived. And so I'm thinking I'm going to close out the show early. I want to tell you that right now, Preston is working on Symmetry #2. So the first book, Symmetry, A True UFO Adventure by Preston Dennett, is all about sort of an introduction to Dolly's experiences. And the second book, from what I understand, is going to be very detailed and um, is going to get into the spiritual message that ET has for us, and how all kinds of sacred information and knowledge. So I'm really looking forward to reading that as well. So I highly recommend, down in the description will be the links to Preston Dennett. Highly recommend you check out his website. And if you haven't done so already, um, check out his books. They're really, really interesting, but they're also a really good read. He's very talented writer where he knows how to add just the perfect amount of description, and to make it very interesting and very alive in your imagination. And he's really quite lovely. Now, before we go, I'm going to show you, I redid my promotion for my orgone generators, and this one's quite short. And I'm going to play it before I close out the show and just give a few more minutes in case Dolly and Preston do arrive. Hi guys, break time for a short message. Are you looking for the perfect, unique seasonal gift? Check out Zendone's Orgonite. They are my unique brand of orgone generators, and they are affordable, ethically sourced, handmade, and double charged for maximum effect. They are only available through my website, KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. These beautiful devices are simple compounds which balance ambient energy by converting negative energy and EMF into positive healing energy with many easily confirmed health benefits. They help diminish the harmful effects of negative energies and EMF by attracting and converting them, retuning them into new and more healthful sound and light wave patterns. They also produce orgone energy, which is also known as chi, prana, zero point, and life force. And you can use these devices for focusing the mind, healing, meditation, and for spiritual growth. Zendone's Orgonite are my unique brand of orgone generators, and they are only available through my website. Don't be fooled by imitations. Check out my website to see my latest selection at KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. That's KarenHolton Healthcoach.com. Check them out today. Now, let's get back to the show. And we're back. I just want to give a quick shout out to John P. Adventures. Hi, John. If you guys haven't done so, check out his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of really amazing content. And it seems to be maybe because it's a long weekend here in Canada, we have our Thanksgiving tomorrow, which is about a full month earlier than you have it down in the States. And that's because I think it's because it gets so cold here. There would be nobody having turkey and celebrating outdoors in November here, at least most of Canada. So it's already starting to get pretty cold. There's the frost is on the pumpkin, and we're having our Thanksgiving tomorrow. But Dolly and Preston are in the States, and as I mentioned earlier, they both live in the vicinity of where Hurricane Helene happened. So I'm hoping that they are well. I'm hoping that everything is okay with them. And as I mentioned earlier, I will actually reschedule them back on the show, and so they can answer your questions. And for those of you who joined us late, my big announcement was that I now will be offering channel memberships probably by the very next show. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. Um, it really means a lot to me. As I mentioned earlier, I checked the views and I've had over 77,000 views on my channel. Thank you so, so very much. If you haven't done so already, I really appreciate it if you click the like, the thumbs up, and share this video out with your family and your friends. And if you care to, please do subscribe if you haven't already done so. So that's about it for today. Thank you again very much, the listeners and the viewers. And I love you so much. And I'll see you Wednesday for the Quantum Guide Show. And then again next week for aliens and angels. So I'll just say bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining me for the Aliens and Angels podcast. Become the change that you wish to see in the world. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rumble, and X channels at Karen Holton TV. Click the like button, leave me a comment, and share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All of the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you will also find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.